welcome back to my A to Z video series on topics to do with pregnancy and perinatal mental health. My name is Dr. Erin Bow and I'm a clinical and perinatal psychologist, and I also teach hypnobirthing in the Macedon Ranges in Victoria. So today we're up to the letter W, and I thought, seeing as though, well actually by the time you watch this video I've probably already had my baby, but I thought you might like to have a sticky peek at what's in my hospital bag. So there's lots and lots and lots of these videos on YouTube. This one is a little bit different because I want to focus more on not so much the practical stuff, but thinking about the birthing environment and how do you actually want to feel. So this focus is more on just that thinking about how can you incorporate each of your 5 senses to create the kind of blissful, optimal birthing environment that you want. The practical kind of stuff for baby and, you know, clothes and bibs and all that sort of stuff is a bit of a no-brainer, really. This is more thinking about, yeah, as I said, your birth environment and how to make it like as pleasant and positive as it can be. So I'm going to tell you what I've planned for each of these 5 senses, so you know, sight, sound, taste, touch, that kind of stuff. Knowing, of course, that you can't exactly plan for these things. You might decide before going into labour that you love a certain type of music, and then on the day you can't stand it. You might decide you want to try and condition yourself to a certain scent, and on the day you feel nauseous and you don't want anything to do with it. Or there might be things that you think, I'm not really into that particular tool or that particular piece of equipment, but you never know what you might actually want to use on the day. So it's kind of about covering all your bases, just because in that primal state you don't know where your brain's going to go and you don't know what you'll like and what you won't like. So let's start with sound. Plenty of people think about packing music for their labour, that kind of thing. I always recommend to my hypnobirthing clients, don't pack music that you think sounds like birth music but isn't something you would actually listen to. So again, don't go packing, like if you don't listen to classical music, don't think, oh, that's what you're supposed to listen to when you give birth, because you'll find it distracting. Don't be embarrassed by your daggy 80s musical preferences if that's what you want. If that's what you feel comfortable with and makes you feel energized, go with that. Don't worry about what other people think on the day. I usually also suggest don't pack anything too lyric heavy, because of course the birthing brain doesn't like a lot of language. It doesn't want to have to process. So we know what happens to your brain is whenever you're exposed to language, your brain will automatically attune to it. So that can possibly take you away from that kind of nice, calm birthing experience. But it is totally up to you. See how you feel. But for me, I'm mostly just packing Hypnobirthing Australia tracks. My favourite one at the moment is called Rainforest Dreaming. And I'll put the link in for it. Even if you don't attend Hypnobirthing Australia classes, you can buy all the tracks online, and they're really good, professionally recorded, really good quality tracks that I highly, highly, highly recommend to get you into the right zone. So I'm packing that in terms of what to listen to, and possibly just some background music. I haven't exactly decided yet. I have to go through my playlist, but Hypnobirthing Australia tracks I would definitely recommend. In terms of sight, affirmations, positive imagery, things around you that you might want to look up at. It might be that you just print out some affirmations like that. Or another good idea is you can get temporary tattoos of birth affirmations. So you might want to just stick them on your hands, stick them on your wrist to have a quick look at when you're needing a moment of inspiration. Or it might be you stick some on your back, or you get your partner to stick some on parts of your body as a reminder for other people who are in your birthing space to keep up a good kind of positive vibe. So I'll put links for that below too, so that's a good one for sight. Other people like to have things like just familiar objects or colours. It might be if you gravitate towards a certain colour that makes you feel calm, you might want to get yourself a pillowcase in that colour, or a piece of clothing, or just something that kind of makes you feel like if you want to look up for a moment and focus on something positive and relaxing. So think about that. Okay, next one, thinking about smells. Now smells you have to be careful with, because as much as you may love the smell of, say, lavender before birth, don't be surprised if during birth the idea makes you sick. Just because things can be more intense, they can be a lot stronger. So what I would suggest, and what I plan to do as well, is if there's a scent that you like, that you really love, that you find soothing, calming, see if you can put it on a tissue and put it in a plastic bag. So you smell the tissue rather than have it on your body, because you get all excited and spray your favourite perfume or put some essential oils on your wrist, and then you don't like it and you want to get rid of it. It can be a bit tricky to quickly remove all traces of the smell. Also consider that a lot of hospitals don't let you have oil burners, candles, that kind of thing. So if there's a scent that you like, maybe see if you can find it in a room diffuser or something like that. So for me, at the moment, now it may change on the day, at the moment I really like the Bora Bora smell from the Glasshouse candle range, but I know I'm not likely to be able to light candles in my room. But they do have a room diffuser, I think, and they also have a hand cream. So there's two options that you can choose instead of actually burning a candle. And as I said, be careful with applying anything directly to your body, because you might change your mind. Even the smell of other people's perfume or soap or shampoo on them on the day can be really, really, really intense. So you'll find lots of midwives don't tend to wear perfume for that reason. So that's smell covered. What about taste? Something I would recommend as well is you need to keep hydrated during labour. You need to keep eating, but sometimes you might not feel like eating. So having a drink that you like, preferably one that's good for you, I guess, and that is hydrating. So for me, I'm choosing a range of teas from a company called Blissful Herbs. They have amazing teas for breastfeeding, for labour, for doing things like helping your uterus shrink down and help with bleeding and that kind of thing. So I'll put the link in for that. So either it might be you feel like a hot cup of tea, if you can stand to have one, or it might be you make yourself some iced tea, stick it in a big container, put in a bendy straw and just sip that throughout or after your labour. So having something that is a pleasant taste, but it doesn't have to be that. It might be coconut water or juice or something that you like, just to keep you hydrated, and also you know, as I said, to condition yourself to sitting down. I guess it's that thing, isn't it, of sitting down with a nice relaxing cup of tea. You can smell it, there's the warmth, or cool if it's a hot day. And then having that before birth, might be raspberry leaf tea or something like that. A lot of people like that in the lead up to labour. And conditioning yourself to the smell and the taste, and then having that during labour, so that takes your brain back to your happy place, so to speak. The next one, what about touch? So some people hate being touched during labour. I've mentioned it before. If that's you on the day, don't worry about it. It's better to go with what you want rather than what is being suggested that you do. But as you might have seen in my previous videos, I always suggest having your birth partner learn some acupressure. It might just be one spot that you focus on, or if you can't stand to have someone touch you, as I said before, I know it sounds crazy, but stick some golf balls in your hospital bag, because if you stick some golf balls and roll them around on the soles of your feet, it can be really, really amazing for relieving anxiety and tension. Just don't pelt them at anybody in the room. Okay, so that's something for touch, but also massage. Really, really light touches. Or it might be you just find some pressure points yourself on your hands to help with nausea. There's also pressure points that can help with bleeding, to reduce bleeding. So as I've mentioned so many times before, get onto Debra Betts and her app. She has lots and lots and lots of really good videos for teaching you or your partner to use these acupressure points that, as I've said, they show up on MRIs, so even if you have that epidural and you can't feel anything, it will still work. So they are still really good techniques to learn to use. The only other thing I would probably think about is, as I said, bringing, if you're going into a hospital environment, bringing comforts from home. So it might be a t-shirt that your partner has slept in for a long time, or that you've slept in for a long time, that just has that familiar smell. Or it might be you want to bring your own pillowcase. It might be you want to bring some photos, something like that. Just think about making that space a bit more personal and a bit less clinical. That's what I would suggest for sticking in your bag, as well as thinking about, okay, how many you know, onesies do I need to pack, and that kind of thing. All right, so that's it for W. I will talk to you in my next video, and as I said, I will put all the links for things I've mentioned and my details for where you can find me below. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.